everybody. I'm Mike Goldberg with my partners, Benny Ricardo, and of course the Magic Man, the two-time former world champion, Paulie Malignaggi. Much will be the same tonight. The action, the excitement, the looking by every fighter for a fabulous finish. But the gloves will be a little different here in the state of California. So Magic Man, let's break down the rules and talk about these 7-ounce gloves. That could be an advantage in some ways to some of the fighters.
I'll tell you where it is an advantage. You're not going to break your hand as easily. They got some protection on your hands, and I'll tell you where it gives you another advantage. You're going to be able to load up punches a little bit more. There's just enough protection to protect your hands, but not enough protection to prevent damage. So you know what? Those shots are going to be loaded up heavier, and I think we're going to see some more extra damage, especially in a situation where you can't run far. I mean, a Trigon, there's not a lot of place to move in there. So you're going to have that impact, that action, and of course that dirty boxing is still going to be here. That's part of the Trigon experience.
Benny, I'm going to do the Captain Obvious question to the Magic Man. So, 7-ounce gloves against Artem Lobov would have been okay with you?
Yeah, this hand maybe wouldn't have broke.
Exactly. But as you pointed out, Paulie, it is a Trigon, and I'm going to steal your line. If you don't try, you're gone.
Absolutely, Michael. And you know, the beauty of this, you talk about transporting it all over the world. They transport it into Dubai, London, and then out here in California. Very easy to do because you only have 3 sides. Easy to pack in a suitcase. We get it in the smallest fighting surface in all combat sports. 60. I mean, it's just 20. You got 60. That's it. You can't run, and that's part of the genius of Dada 5000 and Mike Vasquez to come up with that ideal fighting area where you can't run, and you better try or you're gone. Trigon.
2 sides in the bins above and 1 underneath the seat in front of you. If you are traveling with the Trigon, do not get a bulkhead seat because then you will have a problem with the 3rd side. One problem there is not tonight is for Curtis Millender, who is part of our main event, to find where the venue is because this is his home arena. He has fought in this venue in the Hangar 9 times before.
Exactly. It's a home field advantage for him, and it's the quintessential main event because of the style. He's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage, but he's best fighting inside, doing the dirty boxing. And what I love his line, and he's simplified combat sport. He says, I have 3 or 4 moves. That's it. But he says he has 100 different ways of executing it, and we're going to see it all tonight because this is going to be his final year in combat sports, kind of his farewell tour. And we expect a great night out of Curtis.
Curtis said he is retiring on December 2nd. I said, well, what if you hold a belt at that time? He goes, I'm going to retire on December 2nd. But we will see. First things first, he's taken on a very dangerous Hawaiian in Kealii, Kanekoa, who grew up with BJ Penn, who is training in Scottsdale, Arizona with Triple C Henry Cejudo, and is coming here to put on a show.
Yeah, you know, he's got a royalty has been around him. You know, back on the Big Island with BJ, now he's training with Cejudo. He's got a lot of fight IQ that's been around him, and it's going to give him an opportunity to show that here in the Trigon. You know, his first experience in the Trigon, we're going to see how it plays out. Of course, with that Trigon, maybe one day, if he fights well, maybe we'll go out there to Hawaii, speaking of packing up the Trigon.
If Alima Lay McFarlane can bring Bellator to the island, then we trust the Hawaiian in our main event tonight to travel the Trigon to his home island. The one thing about a Hawaiian, though, is they have form, they have technique, they have a game plan, but to the end of the day, Paulie, they're not afraid to go into that just scrap mode.
Yeah, that's just scrap mode. We remember that from BJ Penn days as well. You know, it's a situation where they have that reputation, and Kealii knows that reputation. He's not going to bow down, he's not going to fold, he's going to go in there, and if the going gets tough, he's going to fight.
And if it gets that way, Benny, that's not something that Curtis Millender will shy away from.
Absolutely not, because he says my style can work anywhere, in any style, in any surface, any kind of combat. As long as it's combat, I can use my style anytime.
It is our main event of the evening. It is an evening of history. The first time the Trigon has landed in the state of California. And it is great to be in the Hangar at the OC Fair and Event Center. Our tail of the tape for our first fight of the night. Julio Tanori, Paulie, just 20 years old. He faces Benji Gomez.
Yeah, and Tanori, a guy we've seen in the past, exciting guy, high intensity guy. Gomez, though, yesterday's fight, meaning meant business. He seemed serious, interested in this, how to see how this fight plays out. I'm sure it's going to get started quickly.
Gomez did miss weight. Tanori said, doesn't matter. Let's fight. Let's get it going. And to officially get things underway, here is Big Bo.
Costa Mesa, can you hear me? No, Costa Mesa, California, can you hear special gloved edition of BYB as we partner with Engelbrecht Promotions and Events to bring to you the inaugural Trigon Combat. As the mighty Trigon, the smallest surface in combat sports, has made its way to California. We would like to thank the California State Athletic Commission, its Commissioner Peter Villegas, Chair, and its Executive Officer Andy Foster for overseeing all 6 of the debut Trigon Combat fights this evening. We begin our card with 5 3-minute rounds in the BYB lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, making his way to the Trigon, please welcome Benji Gomez.
We're hearing each other very well. Speak up.
Benji Gomez started at age 12, wrestled through high school, then in college. After that, he said, I needed to do something that was intense. So his coach suggested mixed martial arts. He's added boxing, Muay Thai, all facets of MMA to his arsenal. He boxed in August of last year, had 2 MMA bouts last year, and he is the first man, Benny, to officially enter the mighty Trigon in our first ever Trigon Combat competition.
And Goldie, he was so excited about it. He said, for me, this is a new beginning. We're talking about it's not bare knuckle, but it's a combat sport, and it's inside that Trigon. I love that Trigon. I don't have to go looking for my opponent. He's going to be there. So he is very excited about getting his career started out here.
He likes dancing, drawing, listening to music, and finishing his opponents. He is Benji, the Brawler Gomez.
And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, making his way to the Trigon, please welcome Julio Tanori.
You want to talk about an ultra impressive debut, 20-year-old Julio Tanori in November of last year in Tampa took on the very experienced Hawaiian Toby Misek, and Paulie, Toby Misek got off to a fast, and I mean fast start. Threw that first punch, cut Julio under his right eye, said it affected him for a moment, but then, oh man, did he pour it on.
Yeah, and you know what? It shows how the mental stability Tanori has, because, you know, Misek also a veteran in the in the fight world in general. You know, you get off to a bad start against him. He's a guy who can be intimidating. He's a guy who you can start to say, oh man, this guy's been here. Now I'm in a bad spot. And you can kind of eat yourself up before he starts to eat you up. Instead, Tanori reacted like a real fighter. When he's back to the wall, he started fighting back. Very explosive, and he got the stoppage.
And he is one of the multiple fighters tonight who is trained by AJ Easley. We will see Isaac Puma Freeman later tonight, and Channing Rain makes his BYB debut here in Trigon Combat. From the hangar at the OC Fair and Event Center in Costa Mesa, he is 20-year-old Julio Tanori.
Ladies and gentlemen, this lightweight contest is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds and is brought to you by Buy Sell Clothing. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Michael Bell. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with gold trim. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall. He weighed in at 140 pounds. He comes to us with over 20 professional MMA contests, but is making his Trigon Combat debut tonight, fighting out of Oxnard, California, introducing Benji the Brawler, Gomez. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks with green trim. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 135 pounds. He is making his Trigon Combat debut, and he fights out of Long Beach, California, by way of Nocosari de Garcia, Sonora, Mexico. Here is Julio Tanori.
All right, gentlemen, you got your rules backstage. Defend yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times. This is good and this is good right here. Do you have any questions? Best of luck to both of you.
Trigon Combat. Our first official fight is set between Benji Gomez and Julio Tanori. Lightweight fight scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds. Here we go. Southpaw Benji Gomez said he wants to fight in the phone booth tonight. He's in the black and gold trunks, the Mexican colors being sported by Julio Tanori.
And I tell you what, and Nocosari de Garcia, that area in Sonora, Mexico is about as tough as they come. So he's had some brawls there growing up. Julio Tanori.
We talked about that, you know, somebody fighting in a phone booth looking to do body damage, a Mexican fighter. What a shocker, right, Paulie?
Yeah, well, gee, never seen that before.
Never at all.
But you know, when you look at Julio Tanori, it looks like he's not even breathing. I mean, it's like he doesn't even, this is just like a walk in the park for him.
And he's so soft-spoken, you guys. And in the interviews we did back in November, when he fought in Tampa, very unassuming, very polite young man. But man, when he comes in here, Benny, he does his work, and he did some serious work on Toby Mesa.
And you saw him right there start to do a little dirty boxing, got him in that tie plum, but then the referee broke that up. But that's where he wants to fight inside, which kind of contradicts Paulie, his height.
Yeah. Well, it's something he likes. Also, you know, it's interesting because this is the first time we have this sport in California, and the referees who are used to refereeing boxing, they got to resist that temptation to break these guys too early. Let's see. Tanori tried a vicious uppercut on the inside, just missed.
Working dirty boxing in the clinch is still legal here. It's still part of the rule set and part of the skill set displayed inside the Trigon. The difference are the 7-ounce gloves here in the state of California.
I think both of these guys would be better off to set up some of the shots now. But now, you know, it's gloved boxing. You want to start to set up some of your punches instead of trying to look for the big one right away, as it's a little bit easier once you start setting shots up.
And as the night continues, guys, it'll be interesting to see how fights last or don't last, because you're going to be able to throw a little bit of caution to the wind with hand injuries. Paulie, you would know better than any, but also the cuts, Benny. The cuts may not occur as quickly with the bare knuckle on the forehead or on the other part of the body.
Yeah.
The gloves are going to make a difference.
And that's the thing, Goldie. I mean, with a bare knuckle fight, any shot, even if it grazes you, can cause a scrape, a cut, some bruising because it's bone to bone. With gloves, you know, you want to make sure you're setting up your shots in a more disciplined fashion, because only shots you land clean are going to have a more damaging effect.
But Paulie, the blows are not as concussive. That's the thing. And you notice here, these guys are more willing to flail with gloves than they are fighting in a 1-2 rhythm when they do fight bare knuckle.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think with bare knuckle, you got more cuts, but I believe these guys can be more concussive because you can put more weight on the shots here with these small gloves, but you're also not going to be able to be as accurate unless you're setting your shots up. You can't be as wild when you're wearing gloves, because partially landed shots won't do as much damage as they will with bare knuckle, but if you land the shots cleanly, they can do more damage than bare knuckle.
So we get things started here with this lightweight contest at the table with, of course, Benny Ricardo, Paulie Malignaggi. It's just exciting to be the first, Paulie. It's exciting to be the first Trigon Combat here in the state of California. We thank the Commissioner, Andy Foster, for letting us come here, and we hope this is the first of many times.
Yeah. You know, this could be the beginning of something fun. You know, and we're going to see how tonight's fights go, how the crowd reacts, how people at home react. You know, I think it's got a lot of potential.
Exactly. I remember doing the very first bare knuckle. I remember you didn't know what was going to happen. It could have been a train wreck. And that's one of those things when you come to this. But then you realize now with this Trigon, the surface is just so ideal for brawls.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to get.
It promotes confrontation. As Data 5000, one of our founders, will tell you as we get set for round number 2. Julio Tanori, 20 years old, fighting out of Long Beach from Mexico. Benji Gomez, the southpaw, the brawler. Wrestling background, did box professionally back in August of last year against Tayden Beltran. He went the distance. He is the only man up to that point to take on Tayden Beltran, who has been able to go the distance and starting to look to utilize that jab.
And Benji's trying to smother him right there, Paulie. What he's trying to do because he senses that Tanori has got that reach, and he's got pretty good leverage on those punches when he can extend.
Also, Tanori doing a good job of being first. You know, Benji pretty defensively responsible. He doesn't get hit with a lot of clean shots, but Tanori doing a good job of forcing the action, pushing the pace, and like I said, just being first in general. He's first almost all the time.
Tanori told us in that fight against Toby Misek, it was his first professional fight, first in a triangle, and he admitted he was confused at first. But once he adjusted to the environment, man, he looked outstanding.
Well, he said what I loved about it was making my debut in a savage sport.
Yes.
He loves it.
Yes. And he's looking to utilize the uppercut, or as his coach AJ Easley would say, go bowling. Go bowling. And I thought about that, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. Go bowling.
Yeah,
Throw that uppercut.
We haven't seen a lot of them yet. He tried one in the first round. He just missed it, but we haven't seen a lot of them yet. But I as I'm watching and having commentated both, professional boxing and bare knuckle stuff as you guys have, I'm looking at you're going to need more IQ when it comes to wearing gloves,
Yes.
because you need to land shots cleaner when it comes to wearing boxing gloves, and you're not going to get as much damage done with partially landed shots. And if these guys don't have the proper technique, they're not going to be able to land cleanly the way they want to.
I'm seeing the first bit of blood under the right eye of Benji Gomez.
Now Tanori turning southpaw. I mean, good success there. Good shots.
That right hand got in there.
Yep.
Right by the ear hole.
He's got to go to a neutral corner. I don't know what he's doing. He's walking around behind the
He's looking for a neutral corner. There's only one.
That's true, Benny.
He didn't bring the fourth side.
That's true.
So the knockdown here in round 2 scored by Julio Tanori.
Oh, good
There
uppercut.
he went bowling.
He went bowling for sure.
He went bowling. And that may be it.
Mike, Tanori, the second round is his round. He did it against...
It is all over. He went bowling, and he just threw himself a 300 game. Julio Tanori.
Benny, round 2. Round 2 of Tanori.
That's his round. But God darn, boy, he's still looking for that neutral corner.
He was walking around, turning back and forth while the referee was counting at the first knockdown.
Great way to start for Julio Tanori and AJ Easley's trio of fighters who will be in the Trigon here tonight. Much like his last fight, he got comfortable after the first and he went to business in the second.
Yeah, turned southpaw, got that first knockdown and from the southpaw stance. Then he came back at the right-handed stance and went bowling on the right-handed stance.
But when he switched that southpaw stance, that made the right hand closer to him.
Yeah.
So he was able to go ahead and come in there and land that.
So our first ever Trigon combat confrontation, and Julio Tanori will go in the record books with a second round stoppage of Benji Gomez.
And that's the bowling shot.
There's your strike there, Mike.
That was the strike. I got to credit AJ Easley in the fighter interviews. And Julio saying that's what AJ tells me to do, and it worked brilliantly.
We're going to get him that ring, that 300 ring.
There you go.
Against a southpaw, that right uppercut can be a good shot to use, and they had the right idea.
And he made me look smart. And as you guys know, working with me, that is not easy to do.
Oh, come on.
No. You know, speaking of 300 ring, Jerome Bettis is so proud of his 300, more so than his Hall of Fame ring. But the 300 ring is his pride and joy.
Really?
He's got 2 of them. Wow.
Interesting.
He's bowled over some people.
Yeah, literally.
Like 3,000 maybe. So 20-year-old Julio Tanori will get his arm raised in victory as BYB Extreme presents Trigon Combat. Big Mo to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Michael Bell calls a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 51 seconds of round number 2. Declaring your winner by knockout, Julio Tanori.
Winner by knockout at 2:51 of round number 2, 20-year-old Julio Tanori. Here's Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined here by our winner, Julio Tanori. Julio, it's a momentous occasion tonight. The Trigon has made its way to a new state, a new coastline, but it's not new to you. You fought in the Trigon before. What was it like to be back in here in such a small fighting surface?
Man, I was like, damn, we're back to this again. You know, it's a little ass triangle. I'm used to fighting in the square. But it's cool, you know, just got to move a little more.
Absolutely. Now, we have Trigon Combat, we have BYB. Do you want to come back and fight in the Trigon again?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, thank you guys for letting me come out here. And, yeah, I'm more willing to pull up again.
Now, it sounds like, do we have some Julio Tanori fans here tonight? Julio, being from Long Beach, now back a little bit in your backyard. You've flown all over the country to fight for BYB before. What was it like to be back home or close to home?
It feels great, man. There's a lot of people that could come out that weren't able to come out to Florida. So thank you guys. Muchas gracias a todos los que vinieron a soportarme. And yeah, thank you guys very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, Julio Tanori.
Ton of talent, classy young man, and he has scored 2 knockout victories in the Trigon prior to his 21st birthday. Congratulations to Julio Tanori, getting things started in style. And his teammate is up next as we check out our tail of the tape for this welterweight matchup. Isaac Puma Freeman returns to the Trigon to face off with Brandon Phillips. Brandon Phillips, 33, Paulie, 34-year-old Isaac Puma Freeman.
Yeah, Freeman 3 pounds lighter, but he has a 2-inch reach advantage, and he likes to box on the outside, so I want to see if that ends up coming into play for him. He also has a 2-inch height advantage, so we'll see. Freeman tends to have the quick hands on the outside from what we've seen of him in the past, and you know, he likes to be he likes to fight at that range, but he's not scared to mix it up as well. So we'll see what Brandon Phillips brings to the table in this fight.
De Hoodlum against Puma as we get set to bring both fighters in. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The first fight ever in the history of Trigon Combat has completed. Costa Mesa, you have made history this evening. We now move to our next contest on the card. 5 3-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. Please welcome to the Trigon, Brandon Phillips.
Benny, Brandon Phillips was not unlike Shaquille O'Neal at the fighter interviews yesterday because he said, well, Shaquille said, is that Paulie Maggiano? But he said, is that Paulie Malignaggi? Paulie Maggiano.
Maggiano's down the street restaurant.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But very excited to be here and very talented. He brings a lot of weapons into the Trigon.
Yeah, I know he's a big fan of Paulie. I mean, he was just like breathless trying to go ahead and meet Paulie. But this is a guy that's going to throw a lot of punches inside that Trigon. He says he loves that small surface. I don't have to go looking for him. It's all right there for me. And he's a striker. And he said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it to Freeman, and I'm going to close that gap, and I'm going to try to finish this thing early.
And he has faced some of the best in combat sports. He fought A.J. McKee during his time in Bellator. He boxed against Tordell Booker back in 2016 when Booker, a highly decorated amateur, was 2-0. Now, Paulie, you know him very well. Booker is 19-1.
Yeah, and he kept saying, that was a tough fight. He goes, that was a big boy. That was a tough fight.
Yep. And that was at Coney Island back in 2016. Brandon Phillips making his first entrance into the Trigon. In MMA, 8 victories, 4 wins by knockout. In his setbacks, he was never knocked out, and he fought A.J. McKee back in January of 2017. He is Brandon the Hoodlum Phillips.
And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, please welcome to the Trigon, Isaac Freeman.
Isaac Puma Freeman. You want to talk about an emotional night. It was also back in Tampa. It was a fight of the night against Bovar Kanekoa, and there's so much turmoil going on around this world, Benny, and there was the emotion of the Ukrainian against Freeman. They both left it all in the Trigon that night. It was not just fight of the night, it was one of the greatest fights that all three of us have been able to sit and witness.
And as amazing as you described that, it's even more amazing to find out afterwards that he broke his hand.
Yeah.
Broke his hand in the second round, and Paulie, nobody knows more about broken hands. Paulie's had so many hand surgery, he gets manicure and surgery at the same time.
Yeah. I used to break his shadow boxing, basically.
Broke his hand, which is why he said he fought southpaw for a lot of that matchup. It was our fight of the night. He did have surgery on that right hand. Had surgery, had a screw inserted. Paulie, you asked him if it was still in there. He said, I think so.
Yeah, because I've had various kinds of surgeries, and
Yes.
sometimes they leave the screws in there, and there's some kinds of surgeries where they actually take them back out. So I want to know how the doctor took the approach for his surgery.
All I know is he told us that his right hand is much better, and he plans on utilizing it very early in tonight's welterweight matchup.
Now, here's an interesting question, Paulie, real quick, though. Is that a blessing for him to be fighting with gloves, or do you think that's going to be a detriment?
I think the gloves are easier on your hands, I have done damage with my gloves, too.
This welterweight contest of Trigon Combat is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds and is brought to you by Life Sciences USA. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Mr. Ray Corona. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with black and blue trim, he stands 5 feet 6 inches tall. He weighed in at 148 pounds. He comes to us with a professional MMA record of 8 victories versus 6 defeats. But he is making his Trigon Combat debut tonight, fighting out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, introducing Brandon the Hoodlum Phillips. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with white trim, he stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. He weighed in at 145 pounds. He comes to us a veteran of professional boxing with 14 fights, 3 of those coming by way of knockout, but making his Trigon Combat debut tonight. He fights out of Los Angeles, California, by way of Monrovia, Liberia, introducing Isaac Puma Freeman.
Right here. Oh, no, right here.
Just listen to my commands. You want to touch gloves? God bless.
Ray Corona, our referee. Isaac Freeman, Brandon Phillips. Scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds. Here we go. Isaac Puma Freeman in the black trunks. White trunks for Brandon Phillips.
Phillips with a good right hand right at the start of the fight.
Very calm start to this one. And I believe, Benny, a lot of that has to do with the 7-ounce gloves. There's a different mentality that goes much to what Paulie was talking about, where you can really utilize your boxing skills in here.
And also defense, because you can hear that the punches hitting the gloves, and sometimes that's a good defensive technique right there, which you can't do in bare knuckle.
Looks like that right hand is fine because Freeman's trying to find a home for it as he throws the left uppercut in a good combination.
Yeah, he's trying to impose himself physically. Pickford trying to use the Trigon a little bit to try to move, but there's not going to be a lot of movement available in here.
Phillips is lunging a lot, so that's why he's got to watch out, especially one of those situations where he comes forward. You want to move laterally in the Trigon.
I'm always big, even in bare knuckle with feints. You know, I always think feints are a very important part of combat, but especially with these gloves here, you can set a lot of different traps now because you're gonna have to be a bit more technical with the gloves on. So I think feints become even more important in a fight like this.
Last 3 MMA fights for Brandon Phillips have been in the LFA, including back in February, as he makes his Trigon combat, as everyone tonight is making their Trigon combat debut, as we are thrilled to be in the state of California, in the Hangar at the OC Fair and Event Center. Change of levels by Puma.
And you see Freeman be very disciplined. You know, he's working that 1-2 rhythm, jab, and then bringing the backhand into it.
Yeah, and he's also trying to touch with that lead hand, trying to counter over the top there, but Pickford, his aggression got in there, although now Freeman has him backing up. You see Freeman changing speeds on that lead left hand as well. He's giving a little bit of that, that almost like that lead shoulder roll type of stance. But also he's not snapping left hands every second. He's touching, he's snapping, he's trying to mix it so he can control with the lead hand. Oh, good shots there by Pickford. As Freeman
went bowling for a second, didn't he?
I mean, by Phillips.
Yep, AJ easily.
Phillips with some good shots as Freeman went.
Oh, caught him that time. Good head movement, but Phillips landed one. Final 30 seconds of round number 1.
Well, I tell you what, Freeman showing you he could take a shot. That was a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, and Freeman, that's the only thing Freeman's got to be careful with, is going straight back like that. Phillips made him pay that time, but overall, I think Freeman's had himself a pretty good round.
Very bladed in his stance, but utilizing the jab and coming over the top of that right hand.
There's some things that I was asking about.
And you know, Mike, that shoulder roll, that's a Cass Street Grand Rapids trademark. That's where the Mayweathers come from.
James
also,
Toney
James
in
Toney.
Michigan,
Yeah, Tony Tucker, Peter Quinlan, all those guys boxing in that style. And in order to do that, you got to be very, very quick. Because once you take a picture, that's when you go down.
And everybody wants to claim it. I remember my trainer, Eric Brown, who was from LA, but he was originally Detroit. He used to call it a Michigan roll. but the Philly fighters would call it a Philly shell. So, everybody wants to claim it.
Well, I would call it that state up north roll. being a proud Buckeye. Brandon Phillips now has spent 3 minutes in the Trigon. In his corner, he looks at what he needs to do to adjust. He said, I am a real striker who does MMA. I've been working with those small gloves since age 18. He is 33 years old. This is round number 2. Black trunks for Isaac Freeman, white trunks for Brandon Phillips.
And you know, Paul, you see the style change right off the bat when they have gloves. See how they bounce around? And
Oh, good shot there by Phillips. And he got Freeman's attention.
Lunging, as you said, Paulie, but he lunged perfectly with his timing into that left hook.
Sometimes Freeman has a bad habit defensively of kind of pulling up and going straight back like that. He's got to be careful.
And that's a technique you may get away with in boxing, but you're not going to get away with it here in the Trigon.
I'll tell you, it's about positioning. You don't want to, and the thing about Freeman is he's given that shoulder roll, so he can kind of pull with the shoulder, but it's weird. When he starts to pull back, he squares up and pulls back.
And Freeman is a boxer by trade. Spent a lot of time in the squared circle. He said the time that he has spent on his clinch game has been mostly to learn how to get out of the clinch. We haven't seen either man thus far try to utilize much dirty boxing.
But Phillips having a better round this round so
He
far.
definitely is.
He's finding his range, and then for Freeman, that lead foot, Paulie, is just too straight. It's very upright.
Phillips said, and I quote, "I want to be a good enough striker that I can beat up anybody." Right now, he's just trying to beat up Isaac Freeman. Mike Goldberg, Paulie Malignaggi, Benny Ricardo. Great to be here for our first ever BYB Extreme Fighting Series Trigon Combat.
Seems like Freeman's trying a little bit too hard this round, and it's been Phillips that made him pay for it. He's had the shorter shots. He's created some defensive mistakes on the part of Freeman that he's been able to make him pay for. It's not for lack of trying from Freeman, but Phillips has had a better round because he's just been a little bit shorter with the shots and just a little bit smarter in the way he's throwing them.
Puma's got that right hand loaded.
Now, do you guys think he's hesitant with that right hand?
Benny, I was just starting to try to gauge the same thing. In the first round, it didn't seem so. But you never know once you land a couple if his right hand, even though he's had 3 months to recover, if he will feel the effects or not.
Yeah, and it's made Phillips be a little bit more aggressive as well.
Yes.
Freeman attempted it there, just didn't find the range for it.
So what was a good start for Isaac Freeman has been matched here in round number 2 by Brandon Phillips.
And again, Freeman getting hit, being a little bit defensively irresponsible on his entrances and on his outs.
Good left hook again lands. And a strong finish by both men. We got ourselves a fight.
Freeman just paying for technical mistakes there. Even on that last exchange, he's too up high as he traps Phillips against the ropes. He's too up high as he's trying to throw at that close range, and Phillips made him pay.
Yeah, he's not moving that torso at all. Just totally upright.
Yep.
And he's got that stiff leg. He thinks just by going from side to side he's going to get out of range, but Phillips is really moving in. You can see him springing off those front legs. Those calves are just bulging when he steps in there.
See, a couple of times Phillips used that trap in that round. There's a counter right hand. There's a good hook from Freeman as well. But there's a trap that Phillips used a couple of times with that jab to the chest and a right hand to the head. And he was able to land a couple of right hands off of it, off of using that trap. It's actually the same trap I used when I broke my hand against Lawball. The jab to the chest, right hand to the head. You get the guy's guard a little bit lower, and then you shoot the right hand to the head blindly. It worked really well for Phillips in that round. A couple of times was able to land some good right hands off of it.
Changing those levels, keeping his opponent off guard. Round number 3 of this welterweight matchup, scheduled for 5.
Yeah, Mike, I think AJ got in Isaac's ear and said, "You got to step it up here."
Yes, and Isaac was one to tell us that he also hears what we say at the table. And in his last fight, he said, "Yeah, I heard you guys say a couple of things," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to adjust that. I'm going to utilize that in that great fight against Bovar Kanekoa."
Good roll counter right hand there by Freeman about 20 seconds ago. It's a nice short range.
Isaac is very involved in aiding youth at risk. He wants to open up gyms for young men and women in the inner city. As right now, though, his attention is on Brandon "the Hoodlum" Phillips.
Oh. Again, Freeman getting hit because he's too up high, not reacting in time.
But Paul, he stays there. He stays right there.
Yeah. Even when he's throwing, he's got to be careful because he keeps himself a little bit too high, and a lot of times he gets hit on the return from Phillips. See, Phillips, just keeps a small target, keeps himself a little bit smaller at close range.
And as much MMA as Phillips has done compared to boxing, he definitely talked to us about being a striker first, and you see it on display here right now.
Oh, there's again
Right
that
hand.
same trap again.
Yep.
Jab to the chest, right hand to the head. It's worked very, very well for Phillips. Freeman has not adjusted to it.
Maybe he's the one here in the commentary tonight, Paul.
Well, and the other thing, when Freeman throws that straight right, Paulie, he's got to kind of come across his jaw. That also serves as a defense. And he's throwing it. He takes that arm to the side and then tries to go across.
Good exchange there, both guys. And Phillips slipping on the BYB logo there.
45 seconds. AJ Easley in the corner of Isaac Freeman saying Phillips is tired. Take advantage of it. Phillips is tired. And Phillips did miss weight, so he had a tough cut. So we should continue to check on the gas tank of Brandon Phillips.
The right hands that Freeman has not been able to escape have, for me, started to give Phillips the advantage the last couple of rounds. Phillips has been a little bit sharper defensively, and Freeman has taken the cleaner shots there that have allowed Phillips for me to carry these last couple of rounds.
Brandon Phillips has adjusted to the unorthodox stance and style of Puma very well. Just missed with the counter left hook. We'll head to round number 4.
Boy, Phillips is a crafty guy. You know that?
He really is.
That left coming right down, right for the heart of Freeman, then loading up on that right hand.
Yeah, and I tell you, if it works, you can keep using it. Freeman has kept falling for that same kind of trap, and Phillips has been able to use it to not only do some good damage, but also it's been a difference maker in winning the rounds.
Mike, you hit it on the button, though. The key is going to be Phillips's conditioning.
Yes.
That's one of the dangers of having to cut weight at the last minute there.
Brandon Phillips representing American top team OKC, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. AJ Easley in the corner of Isaac Freeman, like always. Nice win to get things started for Puma's teammate, Julio Tanori. Round number 4. Trying to come up on different angles, but Freeman unable to connect, and just staying simple, keeping it basic, and Phillips very effective.
Well, I tell you what, Freeman's head's like Mount Rushmore. It's not moving at all. It's right there. It's right there. He's got to move that.
I mean, you know, the thing is that Freeman also throws everything too hard, while Phillips, when he moves his hands, he just starts to move them. He puts Freeman out of position, and then he's able to land with the second half of the combination a lot of times. Freeman slows everything down enough because he loads up everything too much, and it allows Phillips to not only see it, but also it makes Freeman's combinations a bit shorter because they're thrown with more weight. You see right there, Phillips, not everything's hard, but he makes sure the ones that land, gets to put the weight on it while at the same time putting some speed on the other ones, but he's trying to use his setup punches. There it is again. You see the touch to the body and then loads up the hook to the head. On the other hand, Freeman, everything he throws, he's trying to land the home run shot. But once in a while it lands. The nice counter right hand. Good timing shot by Freeman.
The corner continues to talk about Brandon Phillips being tired. And Puma needs to spring an attack.
Freeman will not attack the body at all. Everything is going for the head. He's got to learn how to attack that body, slow the man down.
Yeah, well, a few seconds ago when he threw that straight right to the stomach, Benny, he landed pretty well. He should keep going back to that, you're right.
And then their body's a little easier on the hands, right, Paulie?
Oh,
yeah. Unless you hit an elbow.
That's true. Kickboxing background as well for Brandon Phillips, which made me think of an elbow and a broken foot, which he just sent me back to the Muay Thai days.
Oh, good exchange there from both guys.
Close fight on the judges' scorecard, I have to imagine. Benny, on your unofficial scorecard, how do you have it through 3?
Well, I've got Phillips leading the fight. Because I gave the first one to Freeman and then the last 2 to Phillips.
That's how I got it too, Benny. This round a little closer here. Might be still Might be up there to be grabbed in the last 30 seconds. Let's
Well,
see.
Freeman has stepped it up, Paulie. You can see he's landed that right hand.
Yeah.
And he's changing the angles on the shots, too.
And also Phillips is a little bit less reactive here as we close down in the 4th round. Maybe Freeman's team is onto something. He might be a little bit tired.
Final seconds of round 4.
So, Mike, I got it even here.
Yep.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you, Benny and Paulie. Good start for Freeman. Good 4th. So we got 3 minutes left. Let's see who can be the better man here and get their arm raised in victory. Tonight it is Trigon Combat Night. Saturday, May 13th. It's the Brawl at Rock Hill. 2 belts on the line. In the main event, the BYB lightweight title will take place. Will it be the Preacher Man, Josh Oxendine, or will it be Mark the Shark Irwin? Both men coming off of Fight of the Night and Knockout of the Night performances. In the co-main event, Josette Cotton defends the BYB Super Welterweight title and Police Gazette Diamond Belt against the Red Queen, Jamie Driver. 5th and final round, Isaac Freeman and Brandon Phillips. Black trunks for Freeman, white trunks for Phillips. Both Paulie and Benny have a 2-2. Let's see who can finish the strongest.
You know, Freeman's got to pin his ears back. He knows that Phillips can't hurt him with those shots. He's landed those, but they haven't been the kind that have buckled his knee. So he's got to bring it now. Just peel the ears back and come after him.
And Phillips now coming up a little short with those right hands that he was landing a few rounds ago. I don't know if it's fatigue on his part or Freeman's starting to see them a little bit better. Oh, sharp counter right hand there.
He had the right hand in the holster, didn't he?
Landed it from a different angle there, too. He brought it around that time instead of down the middle like he countered the other, earlier rounds.
Triple jab by his opponent, Brandon Phillips.
Very good use of that shoulder roll as well.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a good right hand there from Phillips, and that's the kind of shots he was landing a couple of rounds ago, and that follows a good hook. And that's what I mean. And that's what I mean about Freeman. He puts himself out of position with the shots that Phillips lands, and it allows Phillips to land follow-up shots.
Big flurry by both men. Phillips getting the better of his opponent.
And it's those careless mistakes that can cost you key moments in rounds that can eventually cost you the round. And in a big round like this, that could be costly right there. A good combination by Phillips. That could be the difference in this round.
Under 90 seconds remain in this fight. Good flurry a moment ago by the hoodlum Brandon Phillips.
And you see, like, Freeman's always throwing those couple of shots, and Phillips blocks them on the glove. And that's why you got to take the power off some of those shots. You got to put some speed on them so that it kind of shifts the guard of Phillips, and then you can hit him with a 3rd and 4th shot. But Freeman is now fighting for the 3rd and 4th shot. He's just throwing those 2 shots right at the gloves, and then the combination stops. So it gives Phillips that sense of protection defensively, and then he fires back, lands right hands like that, like he did a second ago. And there it is again, and there it is again.
Yep, and that left hook. Working diligently to get his arm raised here in the 5th and final round. And Benny, he's figured out the timing of Puma, it seems, in this round because his counters and his attacks have been effective.
Exactly, Mike. And what he's doing, he just looks over that left shoulder. That left shoulder makes Freeman so upright and so stationary.
Final 20 seconds.
But again, you see, when Freeman throws, Phillips keeps his position by using just a basic high guard. Now he's in position to punch back, and that's where he gets Freeman. There it is again. You notice it right here again. See, he keeps that position, and then he fires right back.
Good body shot. They go the distance. It is in the hands of the judges now. Brandon Phillips or Isaac Freeman. If it came down to that 5th and final round, the hoodlum looked really good in the final 3 minutes.
Yep.
Yes, he did.
And Freeman also has himself to blame if that's what it came down to, because a lot of the shots the hoodlum was able to land were because of mistakes Freeman was making, where Phillips was able to set him up off of those mistakes.
And Mike, we got to give credit to Ray Corona. When you do not notice a referee, that's a guy that's doing a great job. And he's got, look at him, look at his position.
I'll tell you,
he lets the guys fight.
I think his last fight, I think he took a shot on the chest himself. You saw that?
Yeah, he took that left. It was a left.
Yeah. Not only did we notice him, not even Phillips noticed him.
So judges rendering their scorecard for this welterweight matchup that goes the distance. Our main event later tonight, Curtis Millender faces the Hawaiian, who has an equal amount of very impressive history in combat sports, Kealii Kanekoa, who has changed his nickname to God's Champion. Right now, Phillips and Freeman await the judges' scorecards.
Well, when it came to who had more fun, I think Brandon Phillips had more fun than Isaac Freeman.
Now, I noticed something right there. With the glove off, Isaac Freeman just kind of rubbed that knuckle where he had the surgery.
Yeah.
That may tell us more than we know.
Also, he throws everything hard, and, that's not going to be healthy for your hands. You got to know how to take some mustard off some of the shots to set up some of the harder ones and also be deceptive. And of course, also you will want to throw everything hard because of the reason you just described there about his hand. If you can throw everything hard, your hands are going to wind up hurting more.
Yep. So did it have a mental effect? We'll find out at a later date. Right now, the only thing these two men care about is what the judges have to say. Scorecards being gathered by Big Mo. Will it be Freeman or Phillips? The official decision is in, and we'll get it to Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 full rounds of action here in the Trigon, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Judge Felicia O scores at 48-47, Freeman. Judge Donald Howard scores at 48-47, Phillips. And Judge Rudy Barragan scores at 48-47, declaring your winner by split decision, Isaac Puma Freeman.
Close fight. Close fight indeed. Split decision victory for Isaac Puma Freeman.
And Mike, for Brandon Phillips, we saw a great warrior. Here's a guy that, he had some weight problems, but yet he came in and he brought it, left everything out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined here by
maybe
our
this psychological
winner,
will help him
Freeman.
in the future that his
Isaac,
hand's going to be fine.
First off, congratulations. Picked up a victory inside the Trigon. Now, I was here in your corner. I was here on your side of the fight. Be a sniper. Be patient. You were patient the whole fight. Were you waiting for a specific shot at all? What were you trying to accomplish tonight?
Honestly, to be honest, I was kind of cautious of my hands because this is my first time back in the Trigon after I broke my hands. So I was trying not to, throw too much power on my right hands and then go back in the hospital. But he's a terrific fighter. I'm sorry for my English. I'm still, from Iberia. But man, he was great. But I was a little scared of my hands, But it feels.
Hands held up.
Yeah.
Now, you come in with lots of boxing experience. Obviously, a boxing ring has 4 sides. You also have Trigon experience. Do you believe that experience in the Trigon is what got you the victory tonight?
Yes, sir. To be honest, because I spar in the Trigon at my gym, and I got some of the best coaches in the world. So they've been working with me like Coach AJ, Coach Zay, Coach Gabe. All these guys come together as a family, and plus my brother Serge. He been sparring me. So, man, and I got some terrific teammates like Julio, my brother, man, and my sisters, both of my sisters. So they've been pushing me, And the Trigon is actually is helping me with my boxing.
Do you enjoy fighting in the Trigon?
Yeah, and plus I got a great promotion team behind me, And man, Mr. I'm sorry.
You're right, Isaac.
Mr. Mel and all of them, you know, they've been encouraging me. When I broke my hands, they've been helping me, man, and I'm so glad I was able to come back in the ring. I mean, in the Trigon for my hands, and my hands is getting better. So I'm sorry for everybody. If I didn't get the knockout, and if I disappoint y'all, I apologize.
No disappointment, Isaac. You got the victory tonight. I do have one question for you. Are we going to see you inside the Trigon again?
I'm signed to y'all. So whenever Mel call, you know, that's my big brother over here. So when he called, he said, Freeman, get ready. And my coach tell me, you know, I got to get ready. I'm signed to y'all, so I'm your property.
Well, we're happy to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, Isaac Puma Freeman.
Split decision victory for Isaac Puma Freeman. And very much like we talked about, guys, there was concern mentally and physically, but I think more so mentally about that right hand. And he threw it a lot early on, and then you could see the hesitation.
Yeah, it starts to get sore on you when you throw it that hard. Because let's remember, Phillips was blocking. So there was contact constantly. When you're putting that much weight on it, you know, it's going to start to wear on you.
Yeah, but you could see that look of concern.
Yes.
Especially from the second round on. Not so much that first one, the second round on. And he was trying to throw it, but rather than going across his face where that arm serves as a defense, he was going to the outside, and then, so it wasn't a full extension on that punch.
And also trying to maybe land his fist in a different spot than where the injury occurred. But a great fight, and we want to see Brandon Phillips back. There's no question about it. Up next, lightweight time, and one we are very excited about. Our tail of the tape for our next battle here inside the Trigon. Dan Hernandez, 23 years old. Justyn Martinez, who has had 6 generations in his family who have served and protected our great nation in the military, both making their Trigon combat debuts. Martinez probably just 5'3".
He's 5'3", but he's a little firecracker.
Yeah,
you know,
he is.
both personality-wise and just physically in general. 6 years older, but he's only got a 1-inch reach disadvantage, which is kind of interesting. And we'll see. Just from looking at him and looking at the way he's warming up, I don't think he's going to be looking to use reach anyway. I don't think he's going to be looking to get on the inside. It's going to be Hernandez, even though he's got only a 1-inch reach advantage, that I think will be looking to keep it on the outside. But let's see how it plays out.
We will see. Big Mo to bring both fighters in.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next contest of the evening is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, making his way to the Trigon, please welcome Justyn Martinez.
Justyn Martinez, born on a military base in Frankfurt, Germany. As I mentioned, 6th generation of military in his family. He was in the 173rd Airborne Brigade, the Sky Soldiers. He served our nation for 8.5 years, finishing his time in the military attached to the 4th Battalion out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, deployments to Afghanistan and Iraq. And he drives everywhere now, guys. and the one thing that he said that I caught right away, he's like, on a normal commercial flight, there's no exits. And if he wants to get off the plane, back in his day, he got off the plane. He jumped, and he was able to go into battle and protect our nation. But now he drives everywhere. He does not want to be on planes
anymore. He did enough flying already for his day.
You got that right.
Hey, for someone who survived 2 plane crashes, I figure I'd use math. Yeah. I just figure the chance of me being in another crash is so remote, I don't even buckle up anymore.
Took the opposite effect.
Justyn Martinez, trained by Isaac Doolittle. Jessica Link is one of his teammates. Jessica on the card later tonight in our co-main event of the evening. And he started off talking about working the body, then he started about ripping the body, and then as the fighter interview continued on Martinez, he said, I'm going to destroy his body, the body of Dan Hernandez.
Yeah, and he said he's going to eat a couple and then go to
And
work.
his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, please welcome to the Trigon, Dan Hernandez.
When asked about his fight style, Dan Hernandez said aggressive nature, and I go to the body. Out of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Hernandez working with one of the best coaches, especially here in the state of California, Henry Ramirez. And this is his first fight under the new coach. He's fairly new to Coach Ramirez. Henry Ramirez, Paulie, is not new to you. That is for certain, and not new to guys like Klitschko or Wilder either.
Yeah, he goes back with Chris Arreola, one of the best of his generation. And one of the great characters in the combat sports as well.
Absolutely, 39 wins, 34 by knockout, three-time WBC heavyweight title challenger. And it was funny, Hernandez said, Benny, that he's boxed, full glove boxed, professionally a couple of times, he said, but now I get to do all the stuff you get warned about in boxing.
Exactly, the dirty boxing. And he said this is he's got new goals, new experience. And he said the fact that they're going to fight in the Trigon, it's amazing the look on fighters' face when they actually see the surface totally assembled. And he said, I love this. This is going to be my home.
We will find out if it will be Martinez or Hernandez with the official introductions. Big Bo.
Ladies and gentlemen, this lightweight contest inside the Trigon is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds and is brought to you by our friends at GC3. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Mr. Thomas Taylor. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks. He stands 5 feet 3 inches tall. He weighed in at 136 pounds. He is making his Trigon combat debut, fighting out of Wichita, Kansas, introducing Justyn Martinez. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the gold trunks with white trim. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall. He weighed in at 134 pounds. This man is a professional boxer of 2 fights, making his Trigon combat debut tonight. He fights out of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Damas y caballeros, presentando Dan Hernandez.
Okay, belt line's good here. Belt line's a little high here, so you're going to get to the middle of the letters. Got my instructions in the back, gentlemen. Protect yourselves at all times. Listen to my commands. Touch them up. Got your one.
Dan Hernandez and Justyn Martinez. Justyn Martinez, one of his other training partners at 316 Martial Arts in Wichita, Kansas. The caveman, David Rickles, longtime Bellator and MMA competitor, last fought in 2019. Here we go, lightweight fight scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds. Black trunks for Martinez, gold and white trunks for Hernandez.
And you notice right away Hernandez is going to have to go down with his punches. And you see, one of the things Martinez is doing really good, get as low as possible, the old...
Jake LaMotta style.
Yeah, and then come up.
I'm trying to get that crotch down and then trying to bring that overhand right. We'll see if it works. So I have to get that right distance.
And Hernandez wants to attack that body, Mike. And one of the things, that's one of the Mexican fighters, when they're in the womb, they don't kick, they throw hooks.
But Martinez has to be careful not to just look down when he's exchanging like that. He's looking at almost, already got a slight cut under his eye, but he's just looking down and looking to throw big shots. Well,
and utilizing that length, Hernandez is really turning that shoulder over, and he's landed some good punches.
And he's landed some good body shots as well. There it is again. You see, Martinez he's not looking. He's looking to just throw a big shot. Well, he's not really.
They're like windmill shots, and this is the wrong strategy. You don't want to fight in that corner.
Yeah, because all Hernandez is going to do, he's going to set you up with the straight punches, so he's going to keep you at bay. And then when he keeps you at bay with those straight punches, he's going to be the decision maker as to when to throw the big shot. But he's got you out of position, so you want to always maintain your position.
And Hernandez doing a great job of touching his opponent on frequent occasion and then getting right out of the way. He's taking no pictures. He's not admiring his work.
Yeah,
he's avoiding those counters of Martinez.
Yeah, see, Martinez is already kind of confused now. He's not really doing any work there. He's trying to, and anything he tries to do, Hernandez is working right off of it. So, again, I mean, I stressed it last fight. I think some feints are in order here for Martinez. He's kind of outgunned.
Hernandez with great hands. Martinez swinging at air. Because Martinez
and he's not looking because you can see Hernandez is stepping back and Martinez is still swinging. He doesn't even realize he stepped back.
Right hand and then that shovel left hand uppercut.
And those hooks are getting in because the right eye of Martinez is looking worn.
And Martinez's plan was to
down he goes.
Yeah.
And it is all over. Or wait, we'll see if he gets up. That's the end of the round with the bell, but it may be all over.
Referee Thomas Taylor's right on top of him. He's not going to. Yep.
Taylor, who refereed last week's Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia fight,
did a great job.
Here refereeing tonight's Trigon combat.
And, Paulie, what was impressive with Hernandez was the way he went about it. He was very cool and calm, kind of aired out.
Yeah.
Sometimes what happens in boxing, you want to take that step back. Step back and then air it out and then go in and land your shot.
Yeah. But you see, Martinez was almost outgunned. He didn't know how to get into the proper distance for himself. Hernandez knew how to keep it the distance he wanted to. There's a replay of the knockdown, or the knockout, and what ended up being the knockout.
And man, he poured it on.
But that was the thing. Hernandez had a good adjudication of where his distance was supposed to be. How he would step in, he would step out. Martinez kind of didn't know. He was kind of sitting there on the outside, looking to throw windmill shots on Hernandez's entrance. But Hernandez was varying his entrance nicely with those straight punches, going down to the body, going down to the head, changing distance accordingly. And Martinez didn't know how to get into his proper distance. He was just hoping Hernandez would step into his distance by chance. And you can't do that. Now when you get in here, you gotta expect that the guys are gonna kind of understand those things. So you have to have a cognizant understanding, not just of throwing punches and landing punches, but also your proper distance and how to gain that proper distance, how to earn that proper distance, and get your opponent into and set up your opponent in that way.
And Benny, as we look at the replay, Hernandez landed very efficiently and at a high percentage.
Exactly, and one of the things Martinez wanted to do was to change levels, but Hernandez never let him do it. Look at the way he freely steps back and then throws those shots. That's a great Trigon IQ, to step back, give yourself the room, and then use the power from the hips and the legs to land.
And you saw Martinez trying to use that jab, but it was just a one jab step back, a one jab step back. It was not really a jab with any thought process behind it. And sometimes Hernandez was jabbing at the same time as him, but he wasn't just thinking jab step back. He was thinking jab, go down to the body, put a combination behind it. And sometimes he was jabbing and stepping back. But again, he was varying it enough to confuse Martinez and enough to change range on Martinez. Martinez had to be the one to earn his range, and he didn't really know how to do that. Even when he was throwing his punches, he wasn't throwing them with the intention of gaining the range he needed and wanted.
All right, let's make it official. Here's Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Thomas Taylor calls a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 16 seconds of round number 1, declaring your winner by knockout, Dan Hernandez.
Spectacular performance by Dan Hernandez. And under the tutelage of Henry Ramirez, we may have a star in the making. Here's Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, joined here by our winner, Dan Hernandez. First off, Dan, congratulations. Now, one thing I love about watching the Trigon is everyone has their different styles that they come in with. Obviously, you're a boxer, and you put on a clinic tonight. Did you expect your boxing to be sound, of course, but you were really piecing them up there tonight?
Yes, I trust myself, but first, I trust God. And my talent that He gave me is about boxing. And right here, I come to fight. I see my opponent, and the first thing that I saw in him, go to a body.
Now, I'm not sure if you noticed, but we eliminated one of the sides of the boxing ring. We're fighting inside a Trigon. What was that like tonight? I mean, have you ever experienced anything even close to this?
No, this is my first time, and I'm happy to be here. Participating here, it's one of my goals right now, so thank you so much for this opportunity.
So I always like to ask a simple question. What can we expect from you next?
I'm gonna keep working, and first goal, if we have a second chance, be here or somewhere else. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. This is my job, and I will keep pushing forward.
Got a good team around you tonight. Got some fans here. Anything you want to say to your support team?
First of all, yeah, to my team, I had a great team, coaches, to my partners. Thank you so much. To my families here, to my sponsors are here. Thank you so much. Thanks God, and God bless you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, Dan Hernandez.
Congratulations to 23-year-old Dan Hernandez, very humble in victory. Mike Goldberg, Paulie Malignaggi, of course, Benny Ricardo. Guys, if you're a young student of the game of boxing, that was a good clinic that Hernandez just put on. Brilliant at the basics, right?
Exactly. You know, and Paul, he felt it. He knew that Martinez was not going to reach him. So he knew that, he, like you said, one jab and then go and then throw it and then back up again out of there, and kept him in, did a great job of keeping him in that corner.
And Paulie, I mean, he was confident in himself. That was obvious.
Yeah, he was confident in himself. You could throw the way he was throwing the combinations and the punches, and his confidence grew as the round progressed. And once again, you can kind of tell when somebody's out of their element. He realized his opponent, Martinez, was kind of out of his element. He didn't understand how to close range, close the gap, and all of that other stuff. You know, you could see Martinez is a short guy, a little guy. He wanted to be inside, maybe do some dirty boxing, but he did not know how to earn his range properly without avoiding damage, and he was not able to avoid the damage of Hernandez.
And Hernandez, as we talked about, turned that shoulder over, and then he got out of the range of Martinez, and a good victory for young Dan Hernandez. Congratulations, a first round stoppage. All right, tail of the tape for our next matchup as we get closer to our co-main and main event of the evening. This one is a middleweight matchup. Manuel de la Torre, who had a very impressive matchup early on against Channing Rain.
And the guys in the truck liked Julio Tanori so much, they put him in Channing Rain's position instead.
Yes, and
we like Julio Tanori too, but he's not fighting twice tonight.
Virtually identical, if you will, as we get set for this middleweight
identical.
match.
Virtually.
Identical. Here's Big Bo.
Ladies and gentlemen, as BYB continues to bring the Trigon all over the world, I urge you all here tonight and watching around the world to follow us on all social media channels at BYB Extreme. And now, our next contest for the inaugural Trigon Combat is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, here is Manuel de la Torre.
The Rascal entering the Trigon for the second time in his combat career. The biggest change, and it is a massive change, since we saw him earn a victory in South Carolina against Henry Williams, is the fact that he has been training at Rival Boxing in Oklahoma City for this fight camp. He said, Manny Murrow is one of my guys. He's one of my heroes. He's a great man and a great trainer. But De La Torre, Benny, went all in the sport of boxing for this training camp and for the future of his combat career.
Exactly, and he's training at a boxing-only facility. No wrestling, no MMA, no nothing. Just strictly boxing and using his punches. And he said what he's going to do in this fight is answer that jab, counter off of that. So he'll be in great shape. And look, you see the man right there, right behind him, the man that wraps the ropes around Sam Liara is right behind him.
Well, he has spent time with Sam Liara in the past. Manuel de la Torre is fighting out of Fullerton, California. He told us on his last fight, I made so many defensive errors, basic stuff I did not even know. Tonight, you will see a whole world of difference.
And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, here is Channing Rain.
Channing Rain is coached by A.J. Easley, Puma, Isaac Freeman, Julio Tanori. They don't look that much alike. I mean, you know. Here's Channing Rain. Channing started at age 21. He said, why? I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Regardless, he said the combat sports helped him to overcome some issues and emotions that he said, and I quote, could not be expressed through conversation. That's a great way to put it.
Exactly.
And he's got an interesting mix. He's a Persian father and a Thai mother.
Yeah.
The only problem I had is he's not really in touch with either of the cultures. And I said, dude, those are two cool cultures. You have got to get in touch with those cultures.
You got that right.
In fact, I suggested he open a Thai restaurant called the Titanic.
Because it never goes under. Greatest influences, Anderson Silva, MVP Michael Venom Page, and the Diaz brothers. Channing Rain, born in San Francisco, fighting out of San Diego. During his time in the Bay Area, he trained at Gilbert Melendez's gym. He is set to make his debut against Manuel De La Torre with the official introductions. Once again, Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, this middleweight contest of Trigon Combat is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds and is brought to you by Buy Sell Clothing. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Mr. Michael Bell. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with white trim, he stands 6 feet 1 inch tall. He weighed in at 156 pounds. He comes to us with a professional MMA record of 4 victories versus 1 defeat, but is making his Trigon Combat debut tonight. And he fights out of Fullerton, California, introducing Manuel the Rascal De La Torre. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with white trim, he stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 153 pounds. He is making his Trigon Combat debut tonight, and he fights out of Long Beach, California. Here is Channing Rain.
Michael Bell, the veteran, our referee.
All right, gentlemen, you got your instructions backstage. Defend yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. If you want to touch gloves, do what they are.
These two are ready to go. Manuel De La Torre and Channing Rain, middleweight matchup scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds. Let's keep an eye on the Rascal early. He said he's been working his left hand, really working that jab, and he thinks the flow is down. Here we go. Black trunks for both men. Channing Rain coming on with a flurry. De La Torre trying to fight it off with the clinch.
And with Channing Rain's going to be he's going to be unpredictable. He's going to change from southpaw to the orthodox stance, but he's going to bring it.
He said, I'm seamless in changing the stances. Uppercut lands in the clinch from De La Torre.
Oh.
And a big left hook.
And Rain is hurt.
He caught him backing up.
Yep, exactly, Benny. You don't want to get caught backing up straight like that. Rain came out reckless, aggressive, landed some good shots himself. But now he's going to have to protect himself a little. He got his chin up in the air as he's attacking. He's got to be careful here. And now he's smothering his work, and De La Torre knows he's superior now.
And De La Torre was the one looking like a puma in the corner after the knockdown of Channing Rain. Bouncing around, ready to go. Southpaw now for Rain.
That's why I'm not in favor of guys changing stances, because he got caught in between that.
Yeah.
Trying to go from southpaw to orthodox, and then he gets caught going back.
But he's not really great at either technique. So, Benny, he should probably try to work on perfecting one stance. In either stance, he's falling in from both stances and then trying to do that dirty work on the inside, which is allowed here, but you know, getting on the inside has been difficult for him as he takes shots on his way in, and I think it's affected him a little bit now, as his legs don't look steady after that knockdown.
And that one more a takedown, not a knockdown, so no 8 count.
Again, look at his chin up in the air as he tries to make his way in. He's got to be careful here.
De La Torre looking to finish it right here, right now. It is all over. Manuel De La Torre finishes Channing Reign. Ultra impressive.
And I'll tell you what, I give Reigns some credit, man. He was looking at the referee like, are you nuts? You stopped that?
Yeah.
The ref's like, yeah, dude, I stopped it. But, you know, I give Channing Reign credit. He was not only ready to get up, he was ready to keep fighting.
But you could just tell that technique wasn't there.
Yeah,
He's totally upright at his face, just waiting to get hit.
And that's the thing, Ben. You know, sometimes, you know, it's not just a matter of will, but also a matter of skill. Channing Reign clearly has the will, but he's got to get in the gym, and somebody's got to teach him a little bit of the skill part of it, the technique part of it, and so he can learn to not only protect himself as well as learn to attack, but also learn to set traps and, you know, the subtleties of the art of fighting. You see here, he had his chin up in the air. And De La Torre was just teeing off as he was just moving. And De La Torre really didn't have to try to be accurate. At that range with a guy with his chin in the air, you just got to throw your hands and the shots are going to land.
No early mistakes to correct in that performance by De La Torre. Victorious back in December in South Carolina. Victorious here in Trigon Combat here tonight, fighting for his sons, 6-year-old Dexter and 4-year-old Manny. Congratulations. The time spent at Rival Boxing in Oklahoma City have certainly paid off, as De La Torre at age 27 continues to evolve.
And I love De La Torre's philosophy about fighting. He says, basically it's the same philosophy all the time. Put the other guy to sleep.
Yep, and he just did that. And he did it quickly, efficiently, and he was entertaining in the process.
Well, Sam Liara looks comfortable in that corner. He's tending to him like he really knows what he's doing.
You know, he's been in there a few times,
Yeah,
right?
Sam, let's just see if Sam's hands are swollen tonight, because we generally see them when they're swollen. Big Mo will make this one official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Michael Bell calls a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 55 seconds of round number 1. Declaring your winner by knockout, Manuel the Rascal De La Torre. Manuel De La Torre, first off, congratulations. Hold on. Any fans of the Rascal here? We'll start there. You have a great support staff here. Anything you want to say to the fans tonight?
First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I thank everybody for coming out here today and supporting me. Thank you to BYB, all my sponsors. Shout out to High Vibes out there in Chickasha. Man, I feel great. It was great to be able to blessing to be able to come home and fight in front of my hometown. Shout out to everybody out there from Fullerton, California, baby. I love you guys.
Now, it's becoming a little bit of a trend here tonight. The people who have experience in the Trigon have a huge advantage. This is obviously a very unique fighting surface. What was it like to be back in? Did you feel comfortable inside this three-sided, well, I'll call it a ring, but that's not the right word.
Well, I felt great coming into this fight. You know, I got a great fight camp out there, Rival KC. Shout out to everybody out there. But one thing I did notice, I mean, it is small, but we're working a lot of footwork. But I'm thinking maybe when we get back home, make our own little Trigon.
Well, does that mean we're going to see you in the Trigon again?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. Whenever you guys are ready, send the contract.
Well, Manuel, congratulations on your victory. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, Manuel De La Torre.
Manuel De La Torre, victorious, stopping his opponent Channing Reign at 1 minute and 55 seconds of the very first round. Congratulations to the Rascal. As you see one of our true veterans, Sam Liara, in the corner. Great to be here as BYB Extreme Fighting Series presents Trigon Combat, Glove Combat, here in the state of California in our Trigon ring, the smallest fighting surface in combat sports. We are in the hangar at the OC Fair and Event Center in Costa Mesa, California, and we are ready for the co-main event of the evening. And the co-main event of the evening is a featherweight matchup that should be nothing short of entertaining. Jessica Link is back. She is a gamer, as is her opponent, Nadine Mandiau. And she is coming up from San Diego, California to compete in this one. And joining us is Aaron Tohill, the host of our great podcast, and of course, former professional boxer, and you've been in this Trigon. Aaron, it's been an entertaining night to say the least thus far.
Absolutely. We've been watching the fights from the stands, and all of them have been bangers. I'm very excited to see the ladies fight, of course. So
you'll be watching closely for technique. We know that. She's if you're a stickler for technique, Aaron takes it to another level.
And for good action too. So far, we've had some fun action.
yes,
you know?
absolutely.
All right, let's check out our tail of the tape. This is our co-main event of the evening, coming to you from Belgium, fighting out of San Diego, California, Nadine Mandiau, and Jessica Link, born in Louisiana, fighting out of Wichita, Kansas. 3.5-inch reach advantage for Mandiau, who has trained with some of the best in mixed martial arts. Big Mo gets set to introduce our fighters for our co-main event.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the first ever women's bout of Trigon Combat. 5 2-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, here is Jessica Link.
Aaron, Jessica Link is always a pleasure to speak with. One of her quotes on fighting is, I might be dumb, but I'm not stupid. But taking that out of the equation, she doesn't go away easily. She's been defeated twice in the bare knuckle competition, but now she told us she's fighting at her weight class. Tell us how much of a difference that truly is for her.
Well, I think the biggest thing, you can tell the difference in her confidence. And when we were at the fighter meeting, I asked her, I said, how did you feel going into the fight with Kealii? And she said, not very confident. And she's also explained that she has a new camp, a new coach, and she really wanted to prove that she can box. And she's been working on her technique and her fundamentals, and I think that's what we really want to see tonight from her.
And she was very honest with us, Aaron. She said, I don't come from boxing,
right?
So I do learn new things every single day.
And she's new in this sport. I mean, we have to remember, it's like she's only been doing martial arts, combat sports for the last 5-6 years.
Yes.
So she's on the fast track. She came right in, and let's see what she can do. I'd like to see her excel in what she wants to. I know she works very hard. So.
Very hard. Coming off a perfect camp, she said, of about 5-6 weeks.
Yes.
And set for our co-main event of the evening, she is Jessica Link.
She looks ready.
She does indeed.
I think this is the best shape I've seen her in, Goldie.
She told us that would be the case. Let's see how Nadine looks as Big Mo brings her into the Trigon.
And her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, please welcome the Trigon, Nadine Mandiau.
Nadine Mandiau, training out of 10th Planet San Diego Combat Academy with Alima McFarland, Juliana Miller, Pearl Gonzalez, Jessica Penne. Congratulations to Alima McFarland, just earned a victory back in her home state of Hawaii. She always puts on a show there. She wants one more fight against Liz Carmouche. Mandiau wants the fight tonight to go her way, Aaron, against Jessica Link. What does she bring to the Trigon?
Well, we just saw Nadine's debut for BYB, and she had fight of the night. So this girl can definitely brawl. She's very new to the Trigon, but as she explained yesterday in the meeting as well, that she wants to use her jab, she wants to use her fundamentals, she wants to use head movement. And both of these ladies, I know they train very hard. I know they both are expecting a tough fight. Neither one is going to go down without a fight. And I think it's going to be who has maybe the better technique.
And both have worked to make their technique better, Paul.
I'll tell you, you asked what she's bringing to the ring, to the Trigon. She brought a fur coat. That's what she brought.
She did.
She
Yeah.
brought a fur coat to the Trigon. And she stamped the feet when she got in there, too. She's ready.
In there.
Yeah,
She's in there.
ready to go. Both women have been in the Trigon before. This night, though, is a special one with Trigon Combat. Official introductions of our co-main event. Once again, Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, this featherweight contest of Trigon Combat is scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds and is brought to you by Life Sciences USA. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Mr. Ray Corona. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing the green trunks, she stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. She weighed in at 125 pounds. She is making her Trigon Combat debut, fighting out of Wichita, Kansas, introducing Jessica Link. And her opponent, fighting out of the red corner. Wearing the white trunks with red trim, she stands 5 feet 7 inches tall. She weighed in at 126 pounds. She is a veteran of 8 professional MMA fights, but she is making her Trigon Combat debut this evening, fighting out of San Diego, California, by way of Pierre, Belgium, introducing Nadine Too Much Mandiau.
This is a little high, but right here it's good, okay? Touch gloves if you want. God bless.
Mandiau and Jessica Link, our co-main event of the evening. Mike Goldberg, the Magic Man. Paulie Malignaggi, Aaron Tohill joining us for this women's fight, the first in Trigon Combat history, scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds. We are underway. Southpaw, Jessica Link, orthodox stance in the red and white trunks for Nadine Too Much Mandiau.
Okay, too much with the right hand there. As Link trying to also come back with her own left hand, but it was a good right hand by Mandiau. And now Link trying to get in those straight left hands. The battle of the crosses so far in the early going.
And I don't know where she's hiding, Aaron, but I did just get confirmation that Alimale McFarland is in the building to watch her teammate.
Manolo said she was coming, so.
She is one of the greatest personalities and one of the most gracious champions in MMA history.
Well, this is the feeling out process, right?
So a good little inside right hand there by Mandiau as Link rushed in. They've both landed a couple of good shots here in the early going.
Link very aggressive, working well. Both women are in the clinch. Good dirty boxing from Jessica Link. And just her frame and her body, she looks like she said she was going to feel, guys.
Good left hand.
And that is in the right weight class.
Yeah, and a good left hand there from Link a few seconds ago.
She definitely looked confident coming out.
Another good left hand. I tell you, the best shots so far have been landed with the cross from both sides. Both girls.
2-minute rounds. This one's scheduled for 5. They split jabs there.
Oh, good combination there from Link again. Link is starting to get the upper hand in the round here as it comes to a close. Early on, Mandiau, I felt like it's got off to a better start, but Link is starting to find her range. And she's also getting better defensively as well.
Final 10 seconds of round number 1.
There you go.
Link quick with the hands and reactions and a good flurry to finish.
Yeah, Mandiau coming in again with her head in the air. Kind of the same mistake we saw last fight. And she got herself caught with a couple of shots on the counter from Jessica Link.
And Link is coming forward, but just like Paulie said, she's keeping her head down. She's keeping her chin tucked, so She's going to avoid some of those wild shots from Nadine.
Also, some of that shot selection from Link has been a bit smarter, especially as the round went on. Some good shot selection on the part of Link. I think it ended up edging the round for her.
And Aaron, after the fight with Kealii, Jessica Link said her coach Charles Ellis totally revamped everything. Footwork, head movement, more efficient movement. And again, she didn't come from that boxing background. Are you seeing the involvement in the evolution in Jessica Link?
Yeah, right when she came out, that was the biggest thing, was I wanted to see her moving her head using footwork, which was what she really emphasized yesterday when we were talking to her. And I'm already seeing that.
And a good start, Jessica Link.
And her eyes are dialed in.
Yes.
And she is focused.
Looking for her first win inside the Trigon. Randine Ekholm and Nadine Mandiau went for a fight of the night ride back in February in South Florida.
Holly, are you liking what you're seeing from her?
Yeah, you know what I'm liking from Link also? She shoots that left cross to the stomach as well. She's varying the attack pretty well. And also defensively, she's getting a little bit more slippery. Mandiau's coming up short. Mandiau's missing. It's not for lack of trying on the part of Mandiau, but Link has been a little bit more accurate. And again, just in shot selection has been a little bit better. I like to see Mandiau also start to reach for some straight right hands to the stomach, like Link has done with the left hand. Although some good right hands there from Mandiau, but she gets herself hit because, again, she's too high up on the exit.
Mandiau definitely has an imposing frame and confidence as she comes in. Both women have been in tough fights inside the Trigon. Monica Medina was the last battle in Tampa for Jessica Link. That one went the distance. Nice right hand.
And that was another war between two amazing women. But I like that they're using, I feel like Link is the one who's juking her and guiding her, and Nadine is following her. So I feel like she has the edge in the footwork.
And Paulie, you talk about that a lot. We do all kinds of shows together, and you can't play follow the leader.
No, you can't play follow the leader, but also Link also has an idea. Oh, good right hand there by Mandiau. Still a good close battle. But Link also has an idea of the angles at which she wants to attack, and she tries to find those angles. She tries to set up those angles. Mandiau's sort of throwing the shots where she can find them, but she's not really looking to set up the geography. She's just kind of, if she sees it, she's throwing it. You can kind of see Link try to step in certain directions so that she can set up certain punches. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But she's at least looking to create. Mandiau, I don't see her really looking to create. I see her kind of taking what's there or sometimes even forcing it. She's scoring a couple of good shots herself. But I just think Link is thinking a little bit more in there.
All right, Coach Towill, what would you be telling Nadine and Jessica right now?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that when you're fighting even a southpaw, you can't follow them. You have to cut them off. And I know there's not a lot of room in here, but you can't just keep circling them because you're going to go right into what she's guiding her in. And I can see it with Link that she is thinking, she's focused. This is her 5th fight in this type of...
Yes. And she's been in all wars, Aaron.
All of them.
Yeah. She is a tough out, to say the least. And so far, she has had more effective strikes land than her opponent in Nadine Mandiau.
Starting to see some right crosses to the stomach from Mandiau. At least she's changing levels a little bit. And let's see if that helps her get more accurate with when she does go back up to the head.
Nadine said she looked forward to fighting a southpaw. New experience. It will make her a better fighter. She has a lot of respect for Link, saying that Link, and even some of her tough battles early in her career, proved how durable she is, and there should be more wins on her record. So a lot of mutual respect in this co-main event.
Oh,
Link looks sharp here in this round.
Good.
Yeah, picking her, again, better shot selection, keeping her shots a little shorter, and also just keeping her positioning a little bit better on the inside. Mandiau sometimes pays because she's too high up as she gets close. She doesn't kind of tuck it in a little bit on the inside. Not changing that level makes her an easier target to find.
Mandiau said she still wants to be an outside fighter.
Oh, good shot
Link
there
is
by
closing
Link.
that distance, though, Paulie, continuously.
Yeah, I mean, and Link is actually being a good outside fighter. She's picking her spots to jump in, and she's going right back on the outside, just like right there with a good left cross to the stomach, and then jumping right back on the outside. So also she's also, when she's on the outside, she's thinking, trying to create the angles. Good shot there as well from Link.
And Link is also not jumping back with her head up, so that's going to save a lot of punches to the head too.
That time, though, Mandiau able to connect late in the round.
Mandiau's got to be careful. She ran into the referee, but she looked at the referee. Good right hand there from Mandiau, though.
Good finish of this round. We got ourselves a fight.
Incredible. So, you know, at the meeting too the other day, Nadine was saying that she only wanted to do one more fight. She might even not want to do another BYB. Do you think that comes into play, that she's already thinking ahead and saying this is my last fight?
I think
what do you think?
I think when you're thinking this is your last fight, you sometimes have less of a will to bite down. I know that happened to me when I was fighting my last career fight. I kind of knew in my head it was going to be my last fight, and it's a little bit harder to dig down. When you're fighting for something afterwards, you're always digging down a little bit more because you want that reward of what comes after. It's a little bit more difficult when you know there's nothing coming at you afterwards.
Aaron, you've been in that position and you put on a clinic.
Yes, but I didn't want to know. I didn't even know what I wanted to do after. When I had that last fight, and I just went, you know what? That was one of the best performances I had. I was very complete with it, and I said, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm
Good way
good.
to go out. Yeah. Go out on your shield.
I saw Rich Franklin actually posted something today on Instagram. It's like when you're fighting against yourself instead of putting that pressure against you, fighting against what kind of champion you can take on when you're chasing a title. Instead of saying I'm looking to be better than this guy or this guy, why don't you say I'm looking to be the best version of myself?
Right.
And sometimes that best version of yourself is all you need to do to challenge yourself, and it makes you better than every other opponent you get in there with.
No question.
It's just a
about
matter
it.
of psychology.
Former UFC middleweight champion, Rich Franklin. And a big shout out to Shatri Sityotong and all the team at One Championship, One FC in Denver, Colorado. It is already sold out. They are coming to the U.S. for the first time.
I knew that was coming eventually.
Yes. And I love the fact they go to Denver, where in 1993, the first ever UFC took place.
Oh, poetic justice, yeah.
Yes.
And PFL merging, buying out Bellator?
Well, that one's out there. We don't.
All right.
Nobody's thrown the check down yet, but
all right.
There's a lot
Some
going
things
on.
are moving,
Things are
including
moving.
inside the Trigon. As
You got
Jessica
that
Link and
right.
Mandiau, nice left hand there from Link.
Rich has been a vice president with One for many, many years. And another Cincinnati kid like me, Paulie, he's a good
Absolutely,
man.
one of the best ever.
Matt Teacher turned MMA world champion.
Well, it looks like Nadine is turning it on a little bit.
You have her behind on the scorecards, Aaron?
I do.
Oh,
On the
good
first
left hand
two,
from Link again.
absolutely. And I think she knows that.
Yep.
So there's definitely some urgency with what she's doing this round.
Again, on the out, it's Link landing. Mandiau a little bit lazy on the out, and it's Link that lands those shots. She's got to be responsible on her exit, does Mandiau. She's paid a lot for that tonight. Lazy on the exit.
Well, we see that, Paulie, a lot in boxing, where some of the biggest knockouts happen when you're going backwards.
Yep. What you do after you
You're
punch.
going backwards with your
how
head
you leave
up.
that distance. Yep. It's very, very important. Also, Link, you see she changes her levels to get inside, too. You know, she's up high, so she'll change levels on the inside. Sometimes she'll get low and get on the inside. Sometimes she'll use a straight left hand from up high to get on the inside. So it's her a little bit of creativity there, and that allows her to be more deceptive on her entrance, and it's allowed her to be just deceptive enough to confuse Mandiau and land the more shots in the fight. And for me, have the advantage tonight in this fight.
That's what you're seeing, right?
Well, I see that Nadine is the same height through the whole fight, which is exactly what Paulie was just saying. You can't do that. You have to keep in a shell. You have to change levels. And when you're throwing those combinations or the counters, people also get clipped when they stand up. You have to keep that same level.
That movement we just saw you utilize on camera, when I watch every video on social media of you coaching Coach Tohill, you're always big on the movement of your fighters and teaching them to do exactly what Paulie talks about all the time, and that is be brilliant at the basics, but change levels and move, offensively and defensively.
Fundamentals.
Yes.
and they take a lifetime to learn.
Yeah, that was an example right there. Mandiau started the round with a good right hand. She landed, but then on her exit, she's just up high, goes straight back, and Link is able to return the favor with a left hand.
Yep. Fifth and final round of our co-main event of the evening. Aaron Tohill with us here for our co-main event. Benny will join us again for our main event of the evening. Millender and Kanekoa.
And see, even when, Nadine is going to the body and she's coming, she can keep that same level and throw over the top, but she stands up and then gets clipped.
Also, she never steps around. She gets, a lot of times when I was fighting southpaws, after I'm throwing, I'm stepping around to my left, getting on the other side of their lead hand.
Is that battle to the outside foot too, right?
Yeah, this way they have to pick up their lead foot to come chase me. They can't punch right from where they are. If you don't make your opponent pick up their lead foot, they can punch you from wherever they are.
Absolutely.
And if you go, especially going straight back, they can just throw a punch on as you're exiting, and they'll hit you. As Link has had a lot of success tonight, because that's been Mandiau's main exit, is just going straight back and staying up high.
And Aaron, have you witnessed the evolution of the skill set of Jessica Link in this fight?
Oh my God, I'm incredibly impressed with her tonight. This is the best. I've watched 3 of her other fights, 4 of them maybe. This is the best I've seen her look. I talked to her yesterday before the fighter meeting, after the fighter meeting. She was very confident.
And she's dialed in here in the 5th and final round.
I can see in the eyes.
Yes.
I always look at the eyes, how focused they are.
And the crazy thing is, this is less of a war than Mandiau's last fight. I feel like Mandiau took a lot more punishment last fight, but this has been smarter fighting on the part of Link, and she's been able to, win this fight pretty handily to me.
Final seconds of our co-main event of the evening. Both women going to fight to the final bell.
Again, Mandiau paying at the bell because she's up too high on the inside.
Right.
They put on a show. They go the distance. Jessica Link and Nadine Mandiau.
Beautiful. You guys impressed with Link?
Yes.
Yeah.
She looked great.
You can see she's been working on certain techniques in the gym, and it really blossomed tonight. When you come out here and you perform after all the hard work in the gym, and you can start to see the changes you've made in your style and yourself, and the adjustments you've practiced so hard on, and then they come out in the fight. It really is a great feeling.
And there is a difference, Aaron, between doing it in the gym, getting better in the gym, but then in live fire, if you will, bringing it to the fight, Paulie and Aaron, that's a big difference, and she did that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you're learning on the job.
Right.
And this is the people, when they're doing all the stuff outside the ring, we understand that, but the only way you're going to be able to apply it and know if it works is in here.
Right.
Is in here.
It was interesting because Mandiau said she was excited to be fighting her first southpaw. Well, you know what? She learned the things she's going to need to work on for the next time she fights the southpaw, and there are several things.
Jessica Link fired up. Her opponent, Nadine Mandiau, strongly supported as she's fighting out of San Diego. We're up the street in the hangar at the OC Fair and Event Center. This one goes the distance. Big Mo has gathered the scorecards, and he will give us our official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 full rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. All 3 judges see the contest 49-46, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Nadine Too Much Mandiau.
All right. Maybe the judges saw a different fight than we watched.
Wow.
Been interesting, because I even a couple of fights ago, I didn't think Freeman came out on top, and they gave it to him.
Well,
that was interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, our winner, Nadine, first off.
I mean, much respect to both of the women getting in there, but
nickname Too Much. You were too much tonight. You really pushed
a little
the
shocked
pace
with that,
in that fight.
decision.
Did you anticipate having to do that?
Yeah, I definitely studied her, saw that she's a game opponent, that she's had some great fights in the past, some tough brawls, and she lasted the last round, so I knew I was going to have to push it and just be one step ahead.
Now, you've been in the Trigon before. As of now, I believe, off of my scorekeeping, all of the people who have fought tonight that had Trigon experience were victorious. Obviously, Jessica had Trigon experience too, but did that experience help you tonight?
I mean, definitely. It's understanding the corners, understanding what we have to do. knowing that I was going against a southpaw, which way I had to circle, but still make sure that I stayed in the middle. So it is still like we have to have a game plan, you know, and I think I executed it well.
Are we going to see him in the Trigon again?
Well, Mel kind of, where is he? Okay. Well, I signed a contract, so we'll see.
Now, Nadine, we know that you have a team behind you, definitely a family and friends-oriented person. Anything that you want to say to your support staff?
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming out, driving all the way up here. Thank you guys for watching at home. Back in Belgium, my little sister is in Paris right now watching this. This is awesome. So I love you guys. I couldn't do it without you. Big shout out to Angel Ramirez. Just trying to get him in my corner tonight. Thank you, Bill Crawford. Thank you, Manolo, for helping me and really getting me to believe in my bite again. And of course, my husband, Andy Burke, the famous jiu-jitsu guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations one more time, Nadine Too Much Mandiau.
So a victory for Nadine Mandiau. 49-46 on the scorecards. Interesting to say the least. Jessica Link will come back bigger and better. Alimale McFarland in the building supporting Nadine Mandiau. And we may have seen her for the last time. And Benny, you had to be a spectator for that one. But it seemed like Jessica was doing everything properly. Somehow Nadine, though, got the attention of the judges as well.
Well, you know, one of the ways I score a fight is destruction, dominance, defense. And I think that the punches that Nadine was bringing were bringing more destruction. She was more accurate with it. I think Jessica paused a lot of her shot, so she doesn't really turn it. I think she has to learn how to manage that space.
I think the judges just liked her fur coat.
That's it. It's a cool fur coat.
Yeah.
And it is cold here.
Yeah.
All right, we are set for our main event of the evening. And I'll tell you what, I've called this guy's fights in different organizations throughout the years. And Curtis Millender is set to fight, as we said in the open of the show, on his home ice, on his home field advantage, in his backyard, as Curtis Millender has been in this building, in the hangar, 9 different times in his combat career. So our tale of the tape for our main event of the evening. 35-year-old Curtis Millender taking on the Hawaiian from the Big Island, Kealii, Kanekoa. And he has been in Scottsdale, Arizona, actually working at a gym right up the street from me, Benny, at a UFC gym, also in a camp with Henry Cejudo. He's ready to bring it tonight. This is our main event, and here is Big Mo.
Costa Mesa, it is now time for the main event of the evening. Scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the Cruiserweight division under BYB Trigon Combat Rules. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. Please welcome to the Trigon, Kealii Kanekoa.
Fun talking to Kanekoa yesterday. Born in Honolulu, spent time in Puna, Hawaii, now lives in Scottsdale, Arizona. Trains his striking with Eddie Cha, who's one of the best in the business. Eddie not here in attendance tonight as he's getting Triple C and some of the other members of Kanekoa's team ready for fights forthcoming. He has power, he has strength, he brings volume, and Benny said he's going to counter with his reach, and he's going to look for the opportunity to utilize that long frame against Millender.
Yeah, but the problem with Millender is going to have a 5-inch reach advantage, so he's going to have tough to combat against that and overcome it. But what he wants to do, he's a boxer striker. But the biggest change in Kealii is the fact that, he's changed totally. His mental preparation and his strategy. He's a guy who's very, very focused, very calm. Feels like he's got his life right where it should be and wants to make the most of every opportunity that's presented his way.
His wife, Lisa, his manager, he has recently changed his nickname after getting baptized to God's Champion. He has changed the path of his life, and thus all the students that he has, he wants to give them the opportunity to show them, Paulie, that during downtimes, you can get back up and you can get on the right path. And when the coach does it, it's a great way to lead.
Yeah, first of all, you lead by example. That's always a plus when you're looking to preach certain positive messages, and that's one thing he does. But then also, combat is also a great way to gain self-respect and gain self-esteem. I can tell you, even from my own experience as a high school kid who'd been thrown out of high school and was lacking in self-confidence, just didn't know where his life was going. Boxing gave me a lot of self-confidence, so it can be definitely used as a positive way to channel energy in the right direction. And he lives it and he teaches it.
And he's looking to put on a show here tonight as he debuts in the Trigon on this very special night of Trigon Combat, brought to you by BYB Extreme. And he is set to take on the hometown kid, Curtis Millender.
And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, here is Curtis Millender.
Two-time Fight Club OC welterweight champion. Yes, right here where we are tonight. Curtis Millender, 35 years old, a veteran of 29 professional MMA battles, stopped only once in his 9 setbacks. Raised by a single father. He said, my dad, Curtis Sr., is Superman. On his opponent, he said he's tough, but he believes, Paulie, that he lacks the skill set to survive more than 3 rounds with him. What I will say is both Millender and Kanekoa come in with a lot of confidence.
Oh yeah, and when you're fighting in a main event, you've earned the right to have that confidence. And then Millender has his own, as Benny was saying at the beginning of the show. What was he? How exactly did he put it? He put it where he said he only does a few things,
but he
does
3 or 4 things.
But he does them in such a diverse way that he's unstoppable, or something to that degree.
Yeah, no, he says I have 100 different ways to do those 3 or 4 things that I do.
That's all you need. That's the KISS method.
I
Keep it
love
simple,
it.
stupid.
I love
it. And if you look at it, some of the best fighters in the world that have that approach. We'll see tonight how it works for Millender.
That's a key in sports, is simplify it and make it easy for you to see. And the other thing he says is, my style can work in any situation or any space presented to me. Mm-hmm. And that's huge.
Yep. The KISS method, that's how he used to call it, Goldie.
Yep.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid. And the way that his coach was slapping around brings me back to Clay Guida and his brother. Every time Clay would get in there, some of the hardest punches Clay took were from his big brother before he stepped into the octagon. Curtis Millender has been in the UFC octagon, defeated Thiago Alves, Max Griffin, and Sayer Bahadurzada during his time at 170 in the UFC. This one, our main event at 185, scheduled for 5 rounds with official introductions. Once again, Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening. 5 3-minute rounds in the cruiserweight division under BYB Trigon combat rules. This bout is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission and is brought to you by BYB Extreme in association with Engelbrecht Promotions and Events. So, Costa Mesa, I need you all to get up out of your seats, raise your drinks high, and get wild! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with black trim, he stands 6 feet 2 inches tall. He weighed in at 185 pounds. He is a veteran of 6 professional MMA contests, but he makes his Trigon combat debut this evening, fighting out of Scottsdale, Arizona, by way of Puna, Hawaii, introducing Kealii, God's champion, Kanekoa. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks with gold trim, he stands 6 feet 2 inches tall. He weighed in at 186 pounds. He is a veteran of 29 professional MMA contests. But tonight, he makes his Trigon Combat debut, and he fights out of Yorba Linda, California. He is Mr. Thursday Night, Curtis Millender. Our main event referee in charge, Thomas Taylor.
Come on this side right here. All right, belt line, come on over, Curtis. Belt line's good on both sides, gentlemen. You got, step back, gentlemen. You guys got my instructions in the back. Protect yourselves at all times, listen to my commands. Touch them up, back to your corner.
Oh, these guys are ready to go. No glove touch from Curtis Millender.
Game face.
Game face indeed. Main event of the evening. Scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds.
He's only courteous after the fight. Before the fight, there's no need to be courteous in his mind.
In fact, Kealii had his game face during the weigh-in yesterday.
He did indeed. Here we go. Red wrap for Curtis Millender. Both men in the white trunks, the black trim for the Hawaiian, for the hometown kid. He's got the gold, and man, now you can see the size of both of these men, Benny.
Yeah.
Very imposing frames.
Yeah, and that 5-inch reach advantage that Millender has, he's going to use that. But on the part of Kealii, he says, I got quicker hands, so he's going to try to bury the hatchet really, really quickly.
It's able to step in the last couple of times and look to land, Paulie.
What though? That jab from Millender has been really sharp, rolling very nicely on the inside and going back on that jab. Now starting to set up some other shots. Kealii has got to start to adjust with that jab, either by jabbing with Millender or using some feints, using some other forms of deception, making him pay for it, something. Because if Millender starts to get confident with that jab, he's going to be able to set up a lot of things very easily.
And it's impressive with Curtis. I mean, he's 1-0 in boxing. He's 20-9 MMA, 3-2 in UFC. That's a well-rounded guy.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He's been doing it a long time and doing it against fighters at the highest level. And he's done it a lot right here in the Hangar. This is 10th fight in the Hangar at the OC Fair and Event Center. He said he had another fight on the property in one of the other buildings, so home ice advantage for sure. You know, I'm going with the hockey, of course, guys. Home ice advantage for Curtis. It is the playoffs.
And, you know, there's something to be said for a fighter who's totally loose like Curtis. Whereas you look at Kealii, he's very, very tight.
Yes.
Very fluid.
Kealii is 32 years old. Curtis Millender, 35 years old. Talked about the Hawaiians' time training with Eddie Cha. Eddie Cha's from this part of the world. Moved to Arizona a few years back with Henry Corrales to train there. So Curtis has spent time with Eddie Cha in the past, who now trains his opponent.
Oh, good right hand there by Millender. He's starting to choose his shots very nicely. Also rolling very well. He's starting to be fluid to work off of the defense, not just responsible defensively, but also now trying to transition it to offense with some sharp little counters. Making it look easy so far.
And, you know, there's a swelling, Mike, under the left eye of Kealii.
And he switches to the southpaw stance.
I'm sorry, the right eye.
20 seconds on the clock here in round 1. This one's scheduled for 5.
Kealii needs to get a little closer and keep those shots a little shorter when he does.
Look at that right eye. It almost looks like it could close.
Yeah.
Tells you something about the power of Curtis Millender.
The accuracy.
Yes. Main event of the evening. Forthcoming, don't forget, Saturday, May 13th, brawl at Rock Hill. 2 belts on the line. The BYB lightweight title is on the line. Who will pick up that belt? Will it be the preacher man, Josh Oxendine, who is 2-0 in the Trigon with 2 finishes, coming off a knockout of the night performance, or his opponent, Mark the Shark Irwin, who is also coming off a great performance, a fight of the night performance. In the co-main event, Josette Cotton defends the BYB Super Welterweight title and Police Gazette Diamond Belt she captured in London, England, against the Red Queen, Jamie Driver. That is Saturday, May 13th. Round 2. Good start for Curtis Millender. White, black, and gold trunks. The Chief, God's champion, Kealii Kanekoa, going southpaw again here in round number 2.
And when he does, you can see Curtis right with a right hand, right down the pipe.
Yeah, right, and sharp uppercuts as well. As Kealii, he's trying to force his way in, so when you end up forcing your way in, you sort of start leaning a little bit. You're susceptible to that uppercut, and that turns him right-handed, although Millender still likes that uppercut, that right-hand uppercut, even though Kealii now has turned back to the conventional stance. Back on that jab, though. That jab has made things easy. That's Kealii has been hanging around right at that range where it's just comfortable for Millender. So Kealii's got to be either all the way out or all the way in. He can't hang out at this range because, as you can see, it makes Millender's life much easier to be able to select the shots that he wants to.
And Curtis looks very comfortable. Knows his technique is working. Very accurate. Very relaxed here inside the Trigon.
You see Kealii there, he had a chance to get in. He walked all the way too close, and then smothered himself.
Yeah, that's one thing in the combat sport. Managing that distance is so important, especially where your leverage is going to be, where you're going to have your power.
I'll tell you, man, Millender looks like James Toney in there. Catching, shooting, rolling, firing off those shots.
Busting up the nose of his opponent.
Kealii is confused now. He's kind of retreating back. He's got to catch and shoot there. Good body shot. That might have been a little low. Yeah, and that's going to be a good chance to get a break for Kealii. I think he needs it. Kealii has to use some of those sharp counters on the inside the way Millender has done to him. You got to be able to fire off the defense. Some of those uppercuts that Millender's landed now seem to have busted up the nose of Kealii.
And he had that swelling below the right eye. So you can see it right there, the right eye. And it looked like it was starting to close. I wonder if that's going to start impeding his ability to see the...
Well, Millender's going to try to go right up the middle again. Still a minute plus on the clock here in round number 2.
Just with the jab alone, he can do a lot of damage in this fight. I mean, he has already, but I mean, this is the kind of fight he can start to really control just with the jab alone and the occasional right-hand counter. He just missed it there.
Kanekoa is Hawaiian, so he can go into that just scrap mode if he can survive this onslaught right now from Millender. Looking to pick him apart.
Oh, and the shots are coming.
It is all over, just like that. Curtis Millender victorious in our main event of the evening.
Lost his mouthpiece, and that went flying right by me.
Yeah, and you could just see Millender was getting more and more comfortable, raising the volume a little bit more and more, raising the intensity a little more and more as he got more comfortable. And every time he raised the intensity and raised the volume, there was no answer from Kanekoa. And ultimately, that was his undoing because once he saw he could take it to a high tempo and there was no return, he just let them all fire. And Millender with an easy win, very sharp, looked very good in this fight.
And I thought Curtis was like a surgeon in there.
Yeah.
I mean, a surgeon that knew exactly where the cuts, where the incisions were going to come from, managed that distance beautifully, had a 5-inch reach advantage. He used it all, and like you said, probably before the fight, he only does 3 or 4 things.
Yeah.
But he does it 100 different ways.
And he did them very, very well tonight.
He says he is going to retire on December 2nd.
Why December 2nd? What is December?
I think he's got a title fight in MMA before then.
Oh, okay. Here he was talking in this replay. And you see again, Kanekoa there, he gets close and then he just smothered himself. There, Millender didn't even do anything. And there was a right hand that you said flew right by you, Benny.
Yeah, that's that mouthpiece that went right by me.
Oh, yeah, the mouthpiece from the right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kanekoa, I tell you, even the moments Kanekoa got close, he smothered himself. And you look at the difference when Millender's close. When Millender's close, he understands his distance. He understands how to throw his punches short or long, depending on his distance that he is in his range, and knows how to get the maximum damage. Very, very, very impressive.
And I think the way you described it, Benny, very surgical, very precise, was the way that Curtis fought. And he hit Kanekoa with a jab to the nose.
I mean,
and Kealii, he smiled, and he fired again.
And he's mainly MMA?
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like a good boxer here, man.
Very good.
He had a good sense of footwork, a good sense of distance, which is very, very difficult when you come from a different combat sport to get a sense of the proper distance in boxing. But Millender really, really understood the proper distance in boxing and knew how to change range very, very well and make it advantageous to him.
If you want to do a clinic on how to fight in the clinch, that was it right there. Curtis did it masterfully.
Yep. And he earns the victory in tonight's main event of the evening. To make it official, Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Thomas Taylor calls a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 25 seconds of round number 2, declaring your winner by knockout, Mr. Thursday Night, Curtis Millender. All right, Curtis. Now, I'm going to I don't know which fan said it, but I was walking by and the fan goes, that was not too courteous. That was a shout out. Thanks for helping me do my job. Look, first time in the Trigon, you pushed the pace at times, but you also welcomed the pace at times. What was it like for you in there tonight?
I said it. It doesn't matter how small, how big. I'm always gonna fight at my pace. There's nobody on this planet that can take me out of my pace. If I wanna be rangy, I'll be rangy. If I want you to come in, you can come in, but you're gonna get fucked up for it.
Now you talk about pace. A lot of your pace experiences inside the MMA cage or equivalent, but tonight you were in the Trigon. Nothing else like it in combat sports. Did you enjoy fighting in such a surface?
It was really dope. I enjoyed it. I'm comfortable already, so next time you want to put the gloves on in the Trigon, I'm down.
So we can see you back. Are we gonna put that in writing? Maybe another Trigon appearance for Curtis Millender?
Yes, sir. As long as you guys get back this year.
Now, you have a lot of fans here tonight. You're represented here tonight. You have your own team around you here tonight. You have your family around you here tonight. Anything you want to say to them?
Oh, man, I love everybody. I say it all the time. If you've ever supported my career, I appreciate you. If you're giving me a ride, if you're giving me gas money to get to the gym, thank you.
Gas money helps after you put on an exhibition like that. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner. He's Mr. Thursday Night. He's Curtis Millender.
So he's going to stay busy before December 2nd, if indeed it is December 2nd.
He wants to come back in the Trigon. I tell you, with performances like this, it's going to be hard to walk away.
Yeah.
It's hard to walk. You might want to walk away, but man, when you come in performances like this, you start to think to yourself, I could keep doing this, I think.
And Benny, I kind of asked him that in the fighter meeting. I said, well, wait, what if you're holding a title or there's a title defense or you're up for a title fight? And he pondered. He pondered. Thank you. He pondered. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, but you know what, Mike and Paulie? Brittle hands.
Yes.
And you know that, Paulie. That's what he's got. He says, I was kind of hesitant about bare knuckle because I know I've got bony hands that are very brittle. These are when he got to use the gloves. So it's going to be interesting when he fights a real bare knuckle fight.
This was a historic event. First time the Trigon in the state of California. The 7-ounce gloves were different. And did you see, first Benny, did you see a lot of difference in the styles, in the attack, or lack thereof, defense with the bigger gloves?
Only at the very beginning. And it seemed like after that, it got back to this surface is magical.
Yes.
This surface forces you to fight. And you are going to fight like you've never fought before because you have to. And that's the beauty of the Trigon. And I think this surface, no matter who you put in there, they have to fight.
You got to try.
You got to try or you're gone.
and Paulie, that's what the Hall of Famer Mike Vasquez, our leader, Dada 5000, Hall of Famer Mel Valenzuela, our Hall of Fame matchmaker, that's the common denominator is the Trigon. So it doesn't matter what you do, we're going to adjust because we respect every commission.
That's why it's called Trigon Combat.
Correct.
Because you will combat in this thing. You have no other choice. There's not enough space to do anything else if you want to survive.
And I think Benny put it perfectly. You may have seen a little difference early. Of course, some of it was somebody coming off a broken hand. But after that, we saw the same type of battles, and they were entertaining.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the credit is for the Trigon. The Trigon itself is the big difference maker. You can mix multiple styles in there, but ultimately you're always going to get action in a surface like this.
No doubt about it. So let's go to our fight of the night, which was early on. And as I mentioned, Isaac Puma Freeman, kind of concerned about, what has happened in the past. But they go for fight of the night, Freeman and Phillips, and put on a show in doing so.
Yeah, this was a good fight. We had Phillips kind of edging it out, but it was that kind of fight. It was close. Could have went either way, and that's why it's the fight of the night. It was a good action fight, and it was also very, very competitive. Right, Benny?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And, part of the thing, he got emotional, Isaac Freeman, afterwards, because he's so indebted to the way they treated him after his fights against Kanekoa when he broke his hand. I mean, the people at BYB were right on top of make sure he had the best surgery, make sure he had everything he needed to get back, and I think that's huge. And for a fighter, that's a tremendous appreciative position you take for those promoters, because they genuinely care for you, and they made sure that he got well.
One hand washes the other. It makes you want to try harder for them when they try for you.
And as we talked about during that fight, he was mentally thinking about that hand, but still able to get his arm raised in victory, which is huge.
Exactly, and I think he learned a lot about himself in terms of, and nobody knows that better than Paulie, that when you come off those hand injuries, you are going to be hesitant. But one of the things Paulie, I thought, pointed out in there that really made a lot of sense was he loaded up too much with that right hand. Yeah. Loaded up way too much, and that could cause problems.
Fight of the night takes two fighters to be named fight of the night. I want to see Brandon Phillips again.
Yeah, absolutely. I had him edge in the fight, actually. Yeah. So, I'd love to see him again. I like to see them with each other again, honestly. It was that kind of fight where, if it was good enough to be fight of the night, it might be good enough to do a rematch.
Split decision.
And I'd like to see Brandon Phillips fight when he's at weight.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to lose weight, and then that depletes his energy and his strength and things like that. So I'd like to see Brandon Phillips realize that, he does have a future in BYB, but he's got to come in and wait. And that is so huge. That's part of being a professional as a fighter.
Yes, and Brandon Phillips should not hang his head because he put on a great performance, and he will be back in the Trigon. All right, knockout of the night. It's a perfect example of the Trigon in getting caught in the corner, and that is what happened. And Justyn Martinez paid the price because Dan Hernandez finished him in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, really, really good performance from Hernandez. Understanding range, understanding the advantage he had in range. You can see he was going to the body, uses shots in combination, but also knew how to step out and step in before the return was firing. And really, Martinez just didn't have an answer from the go. And a perfect one-punch finish here. Shot to the hook, left hook right to the chin. And that ended the fight. That was all Thomas Taylor needed to see. As he could see, Martinez was outgunned from very early going.
Hernandez, he might have been at 95% accuracy.
Well, the key word they probably use is range. And, in the combat sport, airing it out sometimes is a really good thing because it gives you that spacing for you to be able to go ahead and use the power of the hips, use your core to go ahead and land that shot, and that's what that spacing allows you to do. You don't smother it.
And he was perfect at coming in, doing his damage, leaning out, and avoiding damage. So tonight, California, we just had a show in Dubai. We're going back to London in June. The Trigon is traveling, Benny.
Well, it's only 3 sides, so it fits in a suitcase, no problem.
Carry on.
Yep. 2 in the overhead, 1 under the seat, and a great night to be here. And we thank Andy Foster and everyone at the California State Athletic Commission for allowing us to be here. We hope the first of many times for Trigon Combat. So for my partners, Benny Ricardo and the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi, we will say so long for now, and we look forward to the Preacher Man and the Shark and Josette Cotton and the Red Queen, Jamie Driver, in just a couple of weeks from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Good night, everybody.